Alright everyone, RJ here. Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm giving my 3-month review of the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Alright, so the Google Pixel 8 Pro I've had since release. Came out in October, something like this. I've had it right at 3 months now, and I have used it quite extensively in those 3 months. My main SIM card has been in this phone primarily, I say 99% of the time that I've actually owned this phone, and except for a couple of times where I was testing out other phones and stuff like that. But I have really put this phone through its paces. Now, I'm going to give you the good. I'm going to give you some of the bad, some of the problems I've experienced with my Pixel 8 Pro here in this video. Now, this phone was sent out by Team Pixel, and so thanks to them for sending this out for review and everything, and all these videos I'm making on it and everything. So, big shout out to them. Now, I shouldn't even have to say this by now, as long as some of y'all have been watching the channel. But for some of y'all that may be new, whether a product is sent to me or I buy it on my own, I give my honest opinion, irregardless. So, what I'm going to say about this phone here or any other phone is exactly how I feel about it. And also, I'm recording this video from a phone that I don't think I've ever recorded a video on before. Now, it is pretty dark in here. I got a ring light shining behind the phone, but no other light. So let me know in the comments how the video quality is. I'm recording at 4K 30. That's the max I can record in. And so I'm hoping that it comes out okay. And I will leave it in the pinned comment on what phone I'm actually using. You can kind of go and take that for what you will. But anyway, back to the Google Pixel 8 Pro. This has been a really good phone. I've had very few issues with it. Like I said, it's been my main daily since I've got the phone back in October, and I've used it very extensively, making phone calls, testing the battery life, using the phone for playing games, just my normal everyday task, and all that stuff. So I feel like in 3 months' time, I'm very well qualified enough to give you my opinion on it. Of course, as times keep going, as new features drop and stuff like that for this phone, I will, of course, be updating as the months, keep ticking away here. So, the first thing about the phone that I like about it is the build quality, okay? The back of this phone is made of glass, but it is there's really not a real good way to describe the feel of this phone. It is the best feeling phone I've ever felt and ever held. I put it in the case because, it's glass, and we know how it's glass, and then it's got the aluminum frame, and then the glass in the front. So, very easy to crack this glass. So, unfortunately, no matter how good the phone feels, I always keep it in the case. But anyway, beautiful color. This is the Bay Blue, which I have nicknamed it Carolina Blue, just because, obvious reasons. So that's number one. Build quality, really good. Flat display. I do like they got rid of the curvature of the display, and they went flat. Major plus on that deal there. Now, secondly is the display. Got a 6.7, 6.8 inch display here. I think it's up to Quad HD. You can lower it down to just full HD as well. And it's got a 120 refresh rate with a max 2400 nits peak brightness, so it does get really bright. And like I said, the flat display is just that much better. Viewing angles are fantastic. It's just a beautiful display, very smooth with that 120 hertz. So the display is another major pro with a Pixel 8 Pro. Next is the performance and processor of the phone. It runs the Google Tensor G3. It has 12 gigabytes of RAM. And there's been some good things said about it and some bad things said about it. I have a feeling that the majority of the negative things you hear about the Tensor G3 are those who want their phone for gaming, for those extremely graphically intensive games. And this phone just ain't made for that, okay? Some other negatives are probably those who never owned the phone, touched the phone, maybe went into a Best Buy and used it for 5 minutes. And if you're one of those, your comments and your thoughts are irrelevant. Just putting that out there because it's true. This has a lot of AI stuff built into it, for your basic usage, for what you're going to do on your phone every single day, for taking pictures, for browsing social media, for web browsing, doing your everyday task. The Pixel 8 Pro is more than powerful enough to do whatever you want it to do. I have played games on the phone. I don't get into all that Genshin Impact stuff, And I'm like, well, you can't play in the highest quality on that game and without, 6.8-inch display, 6.7, whichever one it is. Are you really going to be able to tell that big of a difference? Is it going to be that much of an issue to play in a medium resolution or a lower resolution quality? If you really want to play it, no, I don't think so. Okay, if you want to play this kind of games, buy a gaming phone. You know what I'm saying? Don't buy this for graphically intensive gaming all the time. That's not what this phone's made for. But the phone, as far as performance goes, the usability, I put it up against the 8 Gen 1, 8 Plus Gen 1, even an 8 Gen 2, and it's very close, very similar in everyday performance. So I would give the processor, it does not get extremely hot. The heating problems that was in the Pixel 6 is in the 7s with the other Tensor chips. The Tensor G3 has alleviated a lot of that stuff, and it just gets a little warm, but it doesn't really get that hot, so not much to complain about there. So the processor, in my opinion, does very well. I've had no issues. And I'm only going to hit on one more pro. There's a lot more I can say about this phone, but keep this video short as possible, and I ain't gotten to the negatives yet. If you want one of the best cameras, this phone's got it. 3 cameras here on the rear. The megapixels, I don't keep up with all the megapixels on all cameras and all that kind of stuff, okay? Extremely good cameras. You have to be a pretty bad picture taker, if you want to, or however you want to put it, to get a bad picture on a Pixel. It's just hard to do, okay? The cameras are that good. You got a lot of good AI processing and all that stuff that this phone has. Video is really stepped up compared to previous versions of Pixels. So I would say cameras, want top-notch cameras. Take some of the best photos. There's a lot of good stuff in the camera with this phone. They got the video boost now at night, and I'm telling you, I've seen some samples, and it's pretty freaking amazing how what they do with that. So cameras, last but not least in this video here, if you want a phone with a great camera, go Pixel. Y'all won't be disappointed. Now on to some of the negatives. I don't really have many here, but I would say that battery is not this phone's strongest suit. I did a battery test a little while back. If you want to watch it, I might leave it in the card or down in the description or at the end of the video if you want to see that video. But I did a battery test with the Pixel 8 Pro, and I was getting really good battery. I mean, I was getting 2 to 3 days, 9-10 hour screen on time, every charge. I mean, just solid, really good battery, but it's dropped off. I don't get near the battery life that I used to get, and I've not really done anything differently with the phone than when I made that video. I can get a day and a half, and it's like 5-6 hours screen on time, and it needs to be recharged. Not really sure what's going on there. Not sure if it was a bad update or this or that, but the battery life used to be really good on this phone when I first got it. Battery life has kind of fell off a little bit. I would say the Pixel 8, which actually I have right here, in my opinion, gets better battery life than the Pixel 8 Pro. Got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, has all that good stuff with the battery as well, but mine just does not seem to be getting the greatest battery life, but a lot could be a factor of that as well. I'm not making any excuses here, but network, and your network area, and if you got weak signal, strong signal, that can affect it. But that's not the case here with this one, because it's usually in the same place. So I would say that battery is one of the weaker spots so far. Hopefully it'll get better. We got to just see where it goes. Now at this moment, that's all I really can say negative that I'm having. It's not the greatest about the phone. But I do got a couple of other things that's kind of ridiculous, and that is this little thing right here, okay? The thermometer. Pointless. That was just, in my opinion, a pointless thing to put on this phone. They could have put an hour blaster on it. That would have been a lot more, that would have been a lot better. You can control TVs. You can control your digital stuff with an hour blaster. I've always liked hour blasters. I wish they'd bring them back on a lot more phones. But this right here, you can't use it on humans. It's not FDA approved or some kind of crap like that. It's not very accurate on other things as well. So this was kind of just one of those gimmicks that I used once and never really used again. So that's just kind of one of those things there. Now, an issue that I have ran into, I've only ran into one issue with the Pixel 8 Pro, and that is drop Wi-Fi. Mine drops Wi-Fi quite often. I do use the VPN service that Google offers on occasion, and I would notice that I would have the VPN turned on. I would look down sometimes and Wi-Fi would be off. It'd be on 5G or LTE, and then it'd go back to Wi-Fi. It'd be on there for like 5 or 10 minutes and drop off of Wi-Fi, and it's back and forth. I thought, well, maybe it's just the VPN causing it to do that for some reason. So I turned the VPNs and all off and hooked it back up to Wi-Fi and all. And it still, it drops Wi-Fi. Now, I'm not sure if y'all that has the Pixel 8 Pro have that kind of issue, but mine does drop Wi-Fi quite often. I can be using the phone, Wi-Fi will be showing up there. Next thing you know, it shows 5G or it shows LTE. It'll stay that way for like 15-20 seconds, then boom, back on Wi-Fi. And it's not only on this phone, but it's also on the 8. Now, it doesn't do it as much on the 8 as the 8 Pro. The 8 Pro does it quite often. So I'm hoping that maybe there's a fix for that. If you're having that kind of issue with maybe dropped, Wi-Fi, let me know in the comment section. But that's really the only problems I can think of right now. Is just the drop Wi-Fi connection, and the battery is just not that great compared to what it was not long after I got the phone. Some other good quality, just to kind of name off a few here. Good call quality, good reception. I'm using it right now on Visible. It's on Verizon, and not a bit of problem with connectivity. It works just fine. Call quality is phenomenal on this phone. So I wanted that in there before I ended the video. So that's just my 3-month review. I know it was long. I know it was drawn out. But I really wanted to give you my pros and my cons. It really wasn't even a review. It was just kind of like, I guess pros and cons. It turned into that instead of an actual review. But we all do things differently sometimes. This is just the way I wanted to do this one. So if you watched all the way through and found it helpful and informative, hit the like button. Any questions you may have, leave it below. If you're new here, not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Also, press that bell for all post notifications, and hopefully YouTube will send you notifications when I release new content. That'd be appreciated. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.